What's up, everyone? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a good weekend. Things are starting to heat up in the tropics. National Hurricane Center just put out some pretty alarming information, and we're going to talk about that a little bit here. Before we get deep into this video, if you're a new watcher, if you've always watched and haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's much appreciated. I'm trying to get growth here, and I talk weather here in the Southeast and really specialize in South Carolina as it's my home state. But let's get deep into this. So this is the European Ensemble, good old SpaghettiOs, and I love these things. They're just cool to look at. But basically, you can tell right there, the cluster of areas that's wanting to really hone in on the center of the Gulf of Mexico states there, and this is getting serious, and this is why. National Hurricane Center has already got their cone out, and check it out. It has it as a hurricane honing in on the New Orleans area again, Louisiana area, kind of close to that where it Sally kind of made landfall, kind of. And I don't have this up, but it's predicted to be 100-mile-per-hour storm right here. That's Category 2. So things are really unfolding right now. Things have really escalated today. And check it out, tropical tidbits here. Some line graphs here, not line graphs, but projected areas where it could hit. Louisiana, Mississippi, right now, and this is going to change, but right now, I tell you what, there's a lot of models that are really honing in on that area. But check it out, the 18Z model guidance here on the strength of this thing. A lot of it has going to a hurricane, Category 1, 2, 3. And it's obvious the National Hurricane Center sees something with this that looks like a favorable setup that this thing could really get going in the Gulf of Mexico. And I'm going to talk about why I think that is the case coming up. But this is the GFS from noon. By the time some of you watch this, the 18Z may have came out. Things might look a little different, but I think right now the point is there. That this thing is going to strengthen into Delta here in the next day or so. So check it out. Circled right here, and this is getting into about Wednesday. It gets into the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico is still warm. It's not near as warm as it was in August and September, obviously, just because they're a little bit more deeper in the summer. But to get into Thursday, and this thing is probably off this run of the GFS is probably a Category 1, close to a 2 hurricane sitting right smack in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. Looks like it slows down around this period too, but we're getting into Friday, and I believe from what I saw on another graphic, the National Hurricane Center has predicted this thing to make landfall around Friday, around midday or so. So that's what we know right now based off that. But this thing is just churning. And I think right around here, it's going to hit some cooler ocean temperatures. And I'm going to show you that here later in the video. But check it out. It's making landfall. This is probably around the Friday time frame. Just, east of New Orleans. And this is something we need to watch out for here in the Southeast, here in the Carolinas, is severe weather threats, because we're going to get up under this system here, and it's going to throw some moisture into our area. So it's something big we have to watch, because it could directly affect us here in South Carolina too. But here it is, and this is something that is basically steering currents here. So you don't have much ridging on top of this storm of what is going to be Delta. And this is the GFS still. So there's not a whole lot of stuff keeping it in the Gulf of Mexico like it's kind of kept Delta, because there's not going to be any troughs or cold fronts really digging that far into the Gulf like they've been the past several days. So you got the ridge of high pressure right there to its northeast, blocking it from kind of doing that panhandle of Florida kind of path like Michael did. But eventually that still begins to scoot off to the southeast. The storm is making landfall at this point for Friday. And, things are still revolving. Things are still moving. It's a moving pattern. High pressure continues to scoot out east. It allows Delta to really keep curving into our state or into our area. And I'm sure you have some influx of energy pushing it also from behind here, like a trough out west. And basically you get the rest of its energy, moisture, severe weather, what have you, over the Carolinas in our area here in South Carolina. This is the European. I can tell you, before we even get through these graphics is that European isn't much different. It's a weaker storm, but I have a feeling it's going to trend stronger. But as you can tell, there's two little dots there. To the left is what's left of Gamma. To the right is what would be Delta. Next frame here, we're getting into more of Thursday. Circled area is Delta. Not much, nothing really on top of the storm to keep it from not moving north. But same thing on GFS. It's positioned a little differently. You got the ridging of high pressure really starting to scoot back down southeast. You got Delta right there making landfall a little bit more west, a little bit more weaker. Getting to the next frame here, and you don't see anything just because you don't see the storm unless it's really strong on these graphics here. But whatever's left of it is getting pulled east into the Carolinas. So these are sea surface temperatures in Celsius brought to you by Tropical Tidbits here. Now you can tell the circled area it's definitely cooled down. It's cooled down, one, because troughs are digging a lot further south. And that's just how it is in October. It's they've digged far enough south and been strong enough to actually cool the sea surface temperatures. Two, you've had a lot of tropical systems in that area that have really churned up the seas. So check it out. That area right there is Gamma. Here in the next really several hours, it's going to continue to probably weaken. Strong shear on top because you got a trough digging there. But the circled area is what will be Delta. Strengthening, moving into a favorable environment in the center of the Gulf of Mexico. And you got the, I'm sorry, I'm starting to run out of breath, guys. But you got the shear on top. There's not really a whole lot. There's a little bit of shear. Basically, the whole entire Gulf of Mexico is very, very low shear. So it's prime for development, and it's still in an area where the sea surface temperatures are still in the 80s. And, you're starting to get some shear up top. There to the northwest, but still just very great conditions for what would be Delta that's just sitting there. Obviously the steering currents kind of start to really get going here, but there it is making landfall, some shear on top, but just by then it's a decently strengthened hurricane. But this is a big thing I want to talk about here, and I think this is a big reason why what the National Hurricane Center is also looking at. Gamma right there, Delta right there. What Gamma's going to do, it's not going to do much of all, but one thing it is going to do that's going to help Delta out is it's going to moisten the Gulf of Mexico up, which there's a lot of dry air that's been leaking into the Gulf of Mexico. Well, Gamma's basically priming the atmosphere up for Delta. Giving up Delta is giving up itself to help Delta right up to the Gulf of Mexico, and there's a lot of moistened air for Delta to use, and to really basically dry air does not help tropical systems, right? So there's not going to be a lot of dry air. So there it is, and you can see just a huge influx of moisture, and that's it making landfall. What would be Delta. And look at all the moisture riding into the southeast, even ahead of it. So here in the southeast, definitely enjoy the fall air because some moist and humid times are ahead. I'm not going to say it's going to get scalding hot, but I do think most of the south and southeast will be directly affected or indirectly affected, however way you want to look at it, by what is going to be Delta. Potential dangerous situation evolving for the Gulf, but that's all I got right now. Y'all have a blessed night.